Welcome to the Clutch Buckets Podcast. My name is Josh Tyson.
And I'm Kyle Spence.
Their profession, our passion, your court. Check ball. Let's hop into
All right,
this
Tyson. We got some heavy hitters going on now. We're
Oh,
finally
man.
into the conference finals. Finally. So now we're going to be looking at one of the best games again. This
Man.
time, the Dallas Mavericks versus the Minnesota Timberwolves, where the Minnesota Timberwolves actually
Struggle.
lose to the Mavericks
Struggle.
108-105 with Kyrie and Luka Doncic combining for 62 points in that game. I want to hear your thoughts because this is your team.
Man, it was a tough match to watch, man. I mean, Mavs straight dominated, man. And that's the problem, man. How do we have all these big men on the Timberwolves and they
Mm,
dominate the paint? 62
mm.
points in the paint. That's disrespectful. I would take slight to that. Like, come on, y'all. Come on, Gobert. Come on, Cat. Come on, Nas Reed. What are we doing?
Mm,
I mean, and Dodgers goes for 33. Cool, we can let that. But you let Kyrie go for 30? Like, what are we focusing on defense, Kyle?
mm,
Like, we
mhm.
got to focus on the one. Why aren't we using Thunder strategy just a little bit? Why aren't we making sure the defense is focused on whichever one has a ball, Kyrie or Doncic, and let the other score? Let PJ
Right.
Washington go for 25, 27. Let him do that. But we can't let both of these stars go off. Come on, man.
Mhm.
That's tough on all sides of the ball. And of course, Timberwolves, man, they struggle, man. My boy Ant-Man, man. It was tough for him to get in that paint. I think he only had like like 6 points in the paint, man. It was tough. All the rest of the shots were on the outside. The Mavs, man, were crowding up the paint. They weren't letting this dude
Right.
get in there at all, which is a great strategy on their end, man. But they just made all the Wolves, man, all around shoot from the three. Now's the strategy and it worked, man.
Well, all I know is somebody looked tired out there, and it wasn't the Dallas Mavericks because the
Bro,
way that I saw Anthony Edwards, he was trotting. Again, anytime I see someone trot, I always go back to our Celtics player, Jalen Brown,
oh man,
just
and that's
trotting
you.
up and down the court. And I
It could
was
be the
like,
first minute of the game he tried.
he tried. So Anthony Edwards really looked tired. His legs didn't look like it was underneath him.
Yeah.
So I can understand that he had single digits in the paint because
Mm,
he ain't had no explosiveness. He wasn't able to drive to the cup like he would like to.
wasn't
They're
there.
just coming off of a tough series. Didn't that go to 7 games?
It went
So
to
if you're
seven,
going
but
to,
that was Sunday,
it,
man. It's Wednesday night. It's
Nah,
Wednesday
man, you
night.
gotta you gotta factor in the amount of intensity that you had to put into that series, and then you're now transitioning into a brand new series, brand new schemes, offensively and defensively.
Yeah,
You gotta
yeah.
get ready for two of the toughest front court players that you is that front court or back court? I always get those two mixed up. I'm pretty sure it's the
Different.
back court.
Yeah, yeah.
So you got these two backcourt players in Luca and Kyrie that you were willing to take responsibility in saying that
Hmm.
I got Kyrie in this series. Look, Kyrie's gonna dance. He's
Yeah,
going
all
to
day.
dance on you. He's like, okay, I'll take that and I will use it as
I'll take this
fuel
day. I'll take the two
and I
step. I'll
will
do the
glad
line dance. I'll throw
it
a little
don't matter.
salsa in there,
Electric
bro. It don't
slide, it
matter.
don't
I'm here.
matter. So because of that, you have this responsibility. Now, to be fair, uh, he didn't match it with Kyrie the entire time, but Kyrie still got his.
Still got
And
his buckets.
so, right. So you got all this running around. You have this exhaustion that you're building up. This is
Hmm.
their first time making it to the Western Conference Finals since 2004.
Yeah,
So I could understand that they were kind of expecting their body naturally expects to shut down by this time. So
mm,
they have to ramp up and find this inner well of energy
that's
in
true.
order to kind of carry them through this series.
Yeah,
So they're gonna get there, but I really do think that the Mavericks were just better coached and they were
they were.
also better prepared for
Tough to
this
say.
game.
Yeah. I mean, it's mental exhaustion too, man. Mental
Yeah,
exhaustion on top of the physical exhaustion. I mean, this is a young squad, bro. These are some young bucks, man.
for
So, like you
sure.
said, man, going through those different schemes, it's a completely different strategy from the Nuggets to, I mean, the Mavs. But on the
Right.
Timberwolves side, man, we got to institute some better strategy. We can't have Towns out there on the 3-point line shooting 9 threes. Like, he's got a mismatch every single time, Kyle. Every
Hmm.
single time. Why is he
Yeah.
not dominating on that mismatch?
I
Why
don't
are
know,
we
Tyson.
not putting him on the block? Why are we not putting him on the post? Like we got to switch that up somehow, man. That we can't allow that. We just not going to outshoot him really, man, from the 3-point line like that. And this is the tough part. The Mavs struggled from the 3-point line.
Yes,
Struggled from the 3-point line. So why didn't we
tremendously.
clog up the paint? Why didn't we clog up the paint at all? That's what I understand. But they dominated in the paint on rebounds, on just scoring in the paint. Like that right there, man. I think is disrespectful to the Timberwolves, especially with the big man. You all brought in the big man to handle these kind of issues. You all
But
have more
that's
big man than them, but you gonna let a rookie outdo you?
Yeah, because Derek Lively had 11 rebounds in that
Really?
game, and he came
Come on,
off the
man.
bench. Again, I really like this kid. That aside, though, if the three isn't going to drop, you have some of the two best finishers in the paint.
In the game.
So number one, I think the keys to the game for me personally, 48 rebounds. They out rebounded the Timberwolves. And again, you talked about Timberwolves having these two big men and
Yep.
Rudy Gobert and Karl Anthony Towns. They still were out rebounded by, I think it was like 8 rebounds. Like they had 40 and then Mavs had like 48. So when you're looking at the rebounding game, which I do believe is really
You
significant
should be
part
ashamed,
of
man.
this,
Should be
you're not
ashamed.
even doing that. So
No.
if you get like 14 rebounds between your two big men, and then you got one guy that's coming off the bench and still getting 11 rebounds by himself,
Right. By himself,
you are
man.
clearly not doing
Come
your
on,
job
man.
there.
Come on, man.
Secondly, Luka has this game that I'm so impressed by that he is able to slow the pace down and then
You ain't gonna
make the
speed him
right
up.
read. You're not going to
Right.
speed him up whatsoever. He
Yep.
makes the right read
Every
when
time.
they double him and the roller dives to the paint or dives to the basket. He knows how to get the ball to
Hmm.
them at will, at will. And even if he sees that there's a mismatch, he's going to step back. He's going to
Yeah.
give that elbow jumper on you, and
Yeah.
he's going to hit it
He's
too.
gonna hit it every time. And he's deadliest when he gets in the paint, Kyle. And that's why you gotta push him out because he comes off on that pick and roll. He goes down, especially with your big man dropping. Right there is when he is deadliest. He could put
Mhm.
up the floater. He can do a step back little a jumper right there, man, 15-foot jumper, or he could lob it up to the big man, throw it out to the three. You can't let him get in there. I know it's
Right.
easier said than done, but that weak side help got to come, or you just got to switch it. What the Thunder was doing every time to prevent that, they kept doubling them.
Mhm.
Every time we went around the strip, double them. Make Gafford catch that mug at the free throw line and do something with it. Let
Well, he
him
can't do
do something
anything
with it.
with it at that point. He's not going to
Right,
put the ball necessarily on the
right.
floor at that point. So, yes, defensively, that's what they should have been doing.
Yeah,
But alas, that didn't work out. Now, PJ Washington, however, for the Dallas Mavericks came up clutch again. I think it was
man.
like a minute 56 left in the
Yeah.
in the in the game, and they're going back and forth. Keep
Hmm.
in mind, I think the Minnesota Timberwolves went on a 13-1 run in that fourth quarter,
Yeah.
and they were ahead. But PJ Washington
Can't
was
come in
able
clutch
on, I think
again.
it was like on a fast break. He had the
Hmm.
wing hit that shot, and I put them up two, and it was all she wrote. After
Yeah.
that, they were able to kind of maintain that distance from the
Hmm.
Timberwolves the entirety of the time. So PJ Washington has become, in my mind, the third most important player on the Dallas Mavericks.
Most
I
definitely.
thought that I would have given it to
Most definitely.
Gafford. I thought I
Nah.
may have given it to Derek Jones. Derek Jones played okay,
But if
but
if you notice real
PJ is the
quick,
guy.
but if you
Hmm.
notice, did you see Gafford's minutes are declining
Yes,
and Lively is going up. Like
yes,
this game, Lively had
yes,
26 to Gafford's 21. But if you notice,
yes.
the plus minus on Lively was plus 19.
Oh yeah,
Gafford minus 15.
yeah.
I'm like, man, this dude establishing himself. He probably gonna be a starter next year, man.
Dude, the way that he hustles, man, I just love his nose for the ball.
That
He knows
tenacity,
where it's
man.
gonna bounce. I
Yeah,
love that. So I feel as though, in my opinion, the Timberwolves were just tired. I feel as though they're going to be able to actually come back into the game or
snap
into
back.
this series
Yeah,
with more energy, more intensity. They didn't shoot well. Anthony Edwards had was it 18 or 19 points in the game. He shot well from the
yeah,
three, pretty
yeah.
decently and not in fact pretty well.
He wasn't getting
Um,
good shots though, man. And that's on him
yeah,
too, moving without the ball. But I need Conley to be a little bit more aggressive, especially going around those screens. I need him to put that flow to game. Remember when he first came over here, they were trying to, to tell him to take more threes and everything,
yeah,
but you got to adjust to what the game gives you, man. If they're
yeah.
giving those floaters, if they're giving you that little lane, that little space right there, we got to do something with it, man.
Because I don't feel as though this is the best the Timberwolves could play. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? Mike Conley didn't hit those. He missed one of the crucial free throws at the end of the
Oh
game,
man, that was
honestly.
tough. That was tough.
If he had hit that, then they could have, tried to miss the last one, and then
Hmm.
they'll be able to try and tip it in for the win. So you could have had Karl Anthony Towns and Rudy Gobert crowding that paint on that rebound to just go
Yeah.
back up with it. So that was an unfortunate play. Even when they didn't play their best at all,
Mm.
Anthony Edwards he didn't have more than 20 points in the game. I think he had
Yeah.
19, like I said earlier. They were still in it
They
to
still
the
rally.
very
Yeah,
end.
yeah.
So I felt as though Luca and Kyrie played a very good game.
They did.
Sure, they can play probably slightly better, but how much better are you really going to get from that?
Yeah.
If you have your role players and PJ Washington giving you 13, if you got your role player Derek Jones giving you 8 points, and you
Consistent.
got
Yeah.
someone on the bench giving you 11
You be
rebounds,
straight. Yeah.
they played a good game, and yet and still they only won by three.
Yeah.
So if you're only winning by three, and we know that the Timberwolves have a greater gear that they can get to,
Hmm.
I feel as though the Timberwolves should be fine. I don't think
Yeah.
that they should worry about this whatsoever. They
Yeah.
lost the first two to the Thunder, I'm sorry, the Denver Nuggets in the last series. So
Yeah.
this is nothing new. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Well, yeah, yeah. What I think they took that first two and then they lost the next three straight.
Yeah.
But it was
Yeah.
because Conley was out. And see, I think Conley is the X factor too, because the focus is on Edwards and the focus is on Cat. But Cat isn't utilizing his size, man. It's not
No.
utilizing size at
No.
all. But Conley, I need him to be more aggressive, man. They took a ridiculous amount of threes out there, man, when they should have been getting in paint. Now it's a little cloud, but the flow of the game is right there. We need to give um Ant-Man, we need to give him the ball on the post, get him set up right, man. I need Cat to start slashing to the basket, and I need them
Right.
to start giving to him post too. So, yeah, man.
Well, Cat didn't shoot well.
Nah,
He did hit a big one down the stretch,
he
but he
did.
only had like he was 2 for 9
Yeah.
for that game. So they didn't shoot it particularly well, except for Anthony Edwards. I feel as though it was just a matter of how tired are you?
Yeah.
Do you have more in the tank to give?
Hmm.
I will want to pivot slightly because Kyrie Irving's comments at the end of the game was really interesting too. Charles Barkley and the Inside the NBA crew were asking
Hmm.
him a few questions, and it turns out that Kyrie now considers him a leader of the team. He said since the last season, when they weren't able to make it into the play-in,
Yeah.
he took it upon himself to be kind of like a quiet leader of the team
Hmm.
where he had goals set for the team that he didn't even express to the team. If we get a 50 games, then we're really going to be at the middle of the pack and we can make a good run.
Hmm.
And he knew that this was the time to step up. I'm curious about that. Do you feel as though there are going to be any dynamics between he and Luca, or do you feel as though at this point they've really figured out their chemistry?
Man, because if you notice, man, that game before they talked about basically their relationship, man, and their dynamic. And I think they have a great relationship because they fully understand each other, man.
Yeah.
They've developed it. And I think it was a relationship that developed outside of basketball, man. That was
Mm.
important for them too. Because when he first came in, man, last year, it was rough. It was rough because, coming down the stretch, and didn't know who's going to get the ball, man. They're trying to figure that dynamic out. And I think it just flows perfectly for them now because they understand each other. They understand each other's game plan mentality. Who's hot right now? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Who has a better matchup right now? And I just think, man, they're really both of their egos, man, they've pushed that down. And because they pushed that down, they're able to cohabitate very well together, man. I mean,
I
they're
think
right in sync.
I have to recant some of my earlier statements. Just my personal opinion, I felt as though this was not going to work.
Mm.
I felt
Oh,
as
me
though the
too.
chemistry and
Oh yeah.
dynamic between Kyrie Irving, who
Hmm.
has his very staunch, stubborn kind of ideologies,
Yeah. Yeah.
and Luca, who I don't know if I would consider him a great locker room guy, but I don't know. Maybe because I kind of just hinged it upon Porzingis leaving
Hmm.
that entity. So I felt as though this wasn't going to work.
Yeah.
But I really do feel as though they've figured it out and they are actually confident with each other.
Yeah.
Now,
And
most
that's the
people are
scary part.
happy. It is scary because they can only get better. When they
Right.
got PJ Washington as an acquisition for this team, gone
Huge
up.
asset. Yeah.
So when I look at just in general, people are happy when they're winning.
Mm.
People are always going to be happy. And
Most
if
definitely.
everything is going well, what's the point of being upset?
Right.
So I'm curious about those times when they're not. And
Hmm.
I'm wondering what that looks like. But we saw it at the front end. We saw them not get into the
Hmm.
playoffs on the front end, and they knew what losing looked like.
Yeah.
And they've been able to still stick together and push forward. I do think that they're a better dynamic duo than I thought earlier. So hats off to them.
Hats off, man, all day, man. I'm gonna throw that hat up in the air. I did not think this was gonna work at all. I thought that was a terrible, terrible trade. But
Yeah.
worked out for them,
They're
man.
here now.
They here.
Now, I want to now switch to, of course, my team,
Ah,
the
ah,
Boston Celtics,
what?
where
You
they
lost weight sweating over that game, man.
Dude, I'm telling you, I'm about down 2 pounds now. They beat the Indiana Pacers, pull out the win, 133 to 128 in overtime, with Tatum scoring 36 in that game and Jalen Brown going for 26 in that game as well.
Yeah,
But we cannot forget about Drew Holiday scoring 28 in the game.
he did
I
his thing.
thought that it was one of the best games ever. I want to hear your thoughts before I hop into mine. What did you think about it?
Yeah, y'all gotta save that game, man. Y'all really should have lost that game. Y'all really should. Thank you. Y'all better send some. No, no. Y'all need to send some thank you letters to Tyrese Halliburton because
Okay, yeah,
that
for sure.
dude, I don't know, but I've never seen turnovers like this before.
Yeah,
Two of
yeah.
them down the stretch,
Crucial, crucial.
crucial down the stretch, really with no pressure on defense. Like Holiday was up on one of them, but he didn't touch the rock. He wasn't
Hmm.
anywhere near the ball at all. But two crucial turnovers at the end,
Yeah.
and that's just youth. That's just the nerves of the game, man. Maybe the crowd was getting to him. I don't know what happened, but that did it right there, man. Those two turnovers, that's what saved y'all. And then, of course, Brown's big shot, man. And everybody was talking about, even LeBron, his comments right after, this is why you fouled. But, Siakam was screened off. If he would have fouled Brown when he went over there, he would have got three shots. That's
Hmm.
three free throws right there. So, I mean, I think it was a good decision on Siakam's. I think he should have put his arms up though. I don't know why he put his arms behind his back, but he
He was
should have
too
put his arms in.
close. He
Yeah,
was
he was a
too
little bit too
close.
close.
Any ability there, I don't think it would have worked. But go
Yeah.
ahead. I want to hear your full thoughts on it because I'm about to go off.
I already know you better go off, man. I can't wait to hear this. But yo, Tyrese, though, I think, like you said, man, at the end, that was his nerves were bad, man. The boy choked under
Mm.
pressure, man. Everybody was like, man, that choke little shirt that he had, man, with Reggie Miller on it,
Yeah.
that was for him. That
Mm.
dude choked it out. But man, overall, I think the Celtics, man, I don't. Well, we talked about your boy Uncle Al, man. I think we hyped him up
Hmm.
too much, and I think he hurt us because he went out there, man, and he absolutely tried to light it up. He shot everything that came to him. This
You
man
did.
took. He was five
You
for
did.
15. He was 3 for 12
He did.
from
He
the
did.
three-point line. This
He
dude think he
did.
Klay Thompson? Like,
Listen.
that's over the top. That's over the top. I was like, come on, Uncle Al, you gotta slow down a little bit. But I think, man, coming down the stretch, and I think you're gonna talk about this a little bit. The Celtics seem like they have absolutely no clue what they're doing offensively coming down the stretch. It is the most frustrating thing to watch. And I understand why Boston nerves are so bad.
Hmm.
I see why y'all are
Yes.
so nervous and so irritated by the gameplay because they turn into straight one-on-one players, bro. They act like it's king of the court. They're not running
Yeah.
any plays. It's between Tatum and Brown, and whoever wants it, you go get it, and nobody else is moving.
Right.
Nobody
No
else is moving.
motion.
No motion
No
whatsoever.
motion. But okay, so I was hyped Tyson, hype is an understatement. Like, I didn't want to wake the whole neighborhood up because of just being so excited about this game. Because I'm not gonna lie, I thought we were gonna lose. I saw the score, I saw the
Man,
time, and I literally said aloud, "Oh my goodness, we're gonna
yeah,
lose this
yeah,
game."
yeah. I'm surprised
And
you ain't
I'm
turned it
not,
off.
dude, no, I'm surprised I didn't turn it off too, because my superstitions get the
Right,
best of me. And I was
right.
like, nah, I gotta stay in on this and let me just be upset.
And
Because
you
I'm
see
like,
what
there's
happened?
no way we should lose to the Indiana
Nah,
Pacers.
not at all,
And
man.
a miracle happened. That's what happened.
Man.
The I would attribute these types of plays like back in the day when the Los Angeles Lakers had Kobe Bryant and Shaquille O'Neal.
Mm.
I always said, I don't care if 1 second is on the clock and the LA Lakers are down by 38, there's still a
There's still
chance.
a
That's
chance.
how I always felt. And I never took that same disposition and mentality, and
Yeah.
I've never applied it to the
Uh,
Boston Celtics because I always said, dude, if we
right.
down and
That
out.
we're
Like,
not class like that.
just pack it up. Let's get ready for game two.
Yeah, yeah. Let's
But
start
the
game planning on the
way
bench.
that we got lucky, it's the Shamrock.
Yeah.
It's the
That
Shamrock. It's that
is.
four-leaf clover.
I'm
That's that
surprised you're
luck
not
that's a
repping one
part
a
of our
day.
team. I'm
Yeah.
surprised too. Jalen Brown hit the corner three, the only three that he hit for the game.
Yeah. Yeah.
Jason Tatum only shot two or got 2 for 8 for the
Yeah.
game as well.
For the
We
game.
shot poorly
Horrible from
and
the
we
3-point line.
still
Yes.
won. I
Yeah.
think we shot like 30
It's abysmal.
7% or something like
Abysmal.
that. I don't know if it's 33%
Yeah.
from the 3-point line.
Here's the crazy part. Drew Holiday was the most efficient three-pointer on your squad.
Yes. And he is
That's
great at
terrible.
corner threes. He's the best at corner threes in the league, but
Yeah.
everywhere else he was still
Yeah.
shooting it and it was going
It's
in.
going in.
Thank God for better players than our star players sometimes. Not saying that the stars didn't show up. They did
Yeah.
because Jason
They,
Tatum was in the 30s,
yeah.
Jalen
They
Brown was
definitely
in the
did.
20s. They did
Yeah.
show up. I'm not taking anything away from them. But Drew Holiday was the X factor, the key to this game,
Yeah.
because he was able to pick up the slack where the rest of the team were
Yeah.
not able to. Being absent of Kristaps Porzingis in this series
Hmm.
looks clear.
He picked up that
We
slack.
miss him
Yeah.
because
Oh my
when
goodness.
Al Horford gets switched on,
That dude, man.
Nemhard, Neesmith, Halliburton, Siakam, they
It,
don't care. Miles
it,
Turner, matter of
bro,
fact, Miles Turner is matched up with him, and that's a
with
mismatch. Dude, everybody
hey,
is going to
yo,
score
yo,
on
yo.
Horford.
Every
And
single
except,
time.
and
Yeah.
this is again where the luck comes into play. Again, I'm talking about Bostonian luck, not just luck.
Mm,
Namhard at the end of the game, time is winding down. I think
yeah.
this might have been in overtime, if I'm not mistaken. He tried to do the same pull-up mid-range jumper
Yeah,
that he
that he
did
did.
twice
Right.
before.
Towards the end of
And
regulation.
this
Yep.
time, Horford finally was able to block the
He got that
shot
thing.
and they were able to push
He
that on a
predicted it.
fast break.
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
oh my
Look at
goodness,
Horford.
is this reality
I was
right
surprised he
now?
still had knees in overtime.
Dude, oh my goodness, because we can't rely on Luke Cornett
No,
to be
man.
able
Look
to
at
fill those
no.
backfill. So I really am impressed with the Celtics' resolve in this most pressurized situation
Yeah.
where if it was me, I probably would have acquiesced and said, y'all got it. We'll see you game two. We'll do
Yeah.
better.
Yeah.
But they did not. Shout out to Jalen Brown for his defense because
He
he was
stepped
able
up.
to, oh my goodness, he
He took that
forced
mug
that
straight from
turnover.
Siakam. Yeah.
Right. On that spin move, and
Hmm.
Siakam tried to go baseline, and he always does his
You're
spin
like,
move,
appreciate
says
you.
right.
Appreciate the
He's like,
gift wrap
yep, let me
gift.
take that. When
Yeah.
Siakam tried to get the ball on the inbound and Carlisle decided not to take a timeout on that, yeah,
Yeah.
went off of Siakam's hands. That's how we were able
Yeah.
to get that
That was
shot of
clutch.
shots.
That was
So
clutch. Two big plays
Tatum,
back to back.
two big plays. Tatum
Mhm.
finally made a big play when he went up and shot the ball for the
In
three
overtime.
in
Yeah.
overtime. In
Hmm.
overtime, I was like, finally, we're able to see
Right.
this player who we know
Hmm.
can do it. And Jalen Brown at the end of the game in post game interview, he was like, Jason Tatum finally woke up, and I was
He
like, that's
did. About
a
time.
little
About
disrespectful,
time.
but I agree.
I
I
mean,
agree
he
with
calling
you.
them out. And that's what I'm talking about. Players keeping other players accountable. at
Right.
the end of the day because he's
Right.
been non-existent all player. He's been inefficient. He's been scoring,
Yeah.
but he's been incredibly inefficient, man.
Yeah.
And even coming down to the in the regulation, man, the plays, that's what I'm talking about, man. These Tatum 101s, man, the shots he shoots, man, just a lot of times it aren't good shots. Then
They're
the
not.
turnover he had expecting Drew
Oh
Holiday to
my, I
roll.
think, oh,
Like,
was it
what are
Derek
you
White?
what do Drew
One of
Holiday?
them. I
What are
was
you
so
doing? What are
upset.
you doing? Like,
So
come on,
upset.
man. The
We do this
decision making,
often.
his IQ sometimes, man,
It's
coming down to the
questionable.
wire in clutch situation is questionable. Like he honestly, man, like he sometimes he has a mentality. Yeah, Halliburton come down the clutch. Like, come on, man,
Yes.
relax, calm it down. But like I said, I think that's on the onus of the coach sometimes. We gotta run a play in those situations. Why
Right.
aren't we giving it to Tatum on the block? Let's get
Right.
Tatum on the block. Let's have people move it around. Or
Right.
get it to Brown on the block. Let's have people move around. Let's run a two screenplay. Get somebody open, get somebody to roll. What are we running? It's like, yo,
Right.
the coach is just being like, yo, Brown, you take it this time. Just go 101. Tatum,
Yeah.
you take it this time, man. You go 101. It's like, what? I
All I
don't
know
know what they
is
doing.
the Pacers probably played one of their best games against us.
53% from the field goal.
Yep. I
Field
think
goal
they played one
percentage.
of their best games against us,
Yeah.
minus the turnovers, because they had high 20s or mid 20s. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
low 20s in turnovers. I think they had 21 turnovers.
Yeah.
And turnovers aside, they shot better, they moved better.
Hmm.
And I felt as though this was a game for them to steal. We did not play our best game, and we were able to pull this out. So I think that this
That's
momentum
huge.
hopefully
Yeah.
carries over tonight,
Yeah.
where we're able to capitalize on this and go up 2-0.
Hmm.
But I think that Tyrese Halliburton, you said it earlier, the lights maybe were too bright for him to
He can't
focus as
see.
much.
He
He
need to
didn't
put on some
control the
sunglasses.
pace, ironically, for a
Yeah.
team called the Pacers. He didn't control the pace at the end of regulation when
Nah.
they know full well they could have been able to maintain this lead and just ride it out into the end and go up
Yep.
1-0 on the Celtics.
Yep.
So inexperience probably played a factor here. He's only
Hmm.
24, so I know that that's going to play a factor. I think that the coaching decisions on not calling timeouts was not wise. I think, in my opinion, Tyson, I would have fouled Jaylen Brown because Jaylen Brown is maybe a 71% free throw shooter, but
Yeah.
in the playoffs, he's been like 50% free throw shooter. Ain't
Yeah.
no way he was going to hit all three of those free throws.
That's
It's
true.
not possible. It's not possible.
It's
It's
not,
Jaylen
man.
Brown. It's
But at the
Jaylen
same
Brown.
time, do you even want to take that chance? You don't want to foul a 3-point play because what is the likelihood of him making that shot compared
Yeah,
to him
that's
making the free
well, you
throws?
know what? That's fine. Rachel Nichols did say
Yeah.
that. He's 22% from the
Right.
corner.
Right.
So they're like, let him shoot it,
Especially with somebody
and
in his face. Like, that's tough.
more than likely he's gonna miss this anyway,
Right.
but there's pressure on him. But either or, I think I would have fouled because Jaylen Brown is a horrible
Oh,
free throw shooter.
yeah.
Horrible.
Yeah.
For somebody that's getting paid as much as he's getting paid, he
Yeah.
does not work well
Yeah.
with free
It's
throws
abysmal.
at all.
You know who feels
So,
better? You know who
who?
feels better right now? CGA from the Thunder. Shy. Because
Yes.
now he's almost justified. He's like, see, that's
Yes.
why I fouled
That's
that
why.
guy because he might
Yep.
he might have made it. And so he feels
Yeah.
justified.
If
Like, he can feel
if
better.
SJ was in this series and fouled Jaylen Brown,
Yes.
they would have won the game.
Everything.
The Pacers would have won that game because ain't no way I see Jaylen Brown hitting 3 out of 3. No
Yeah,
way.
yeah,
But
yeah.
again, it was a really good game.
It
Miles
was.
Turner really played well. I don't care about the plus or minus on that. Miles Turner was
Oh,
essential
yeah,
in
yeah.
this
He was
game,
balling.
going 9 for
He
13, 3
balling.
for 4 from three. He
Yeah.
hit both of his free throws as well.
Hmm.
Neesmith wasn't doing well from the 3-point line, but he was
He was
50% from
clutch.
the field.
Yeah, he was clutch
Siakam
down.
was eaten again, most of
Oh,
which when
bro,
he gets
on
switched on
Al. Oh,
Horford,
poor,
it don't
poor Al.
matter.
That's
Like, it
yeah,
don't matter. We
yeah,
going
old
on the
man,
buffet
bro.
line. So
Old man be struggling, man. It looks like his
struggling,
knees gonna
man.
buckle at any moment.
The way that they be shaking him, man, I feel so badly
I
sometimes.
know.
But they got crucial points from the bench and Obi
Oh, that
Toppin and
man,
McConnell.
they
And I
balled
love
out.
that matchup between McConnell and Peyton
Yeah,
Pritchard. That's my matchup. I love seeing these two
yeah,
short gentlemen go at it because they both have that same mentality, that
yeah,
dog mentality. So
yeah.
I enjoyed the game. I think I enjoyed it because we won. I think I would hate this game if we lost
Right.
because
Yeah.
when
You wouldn't
common
even want to
sense
talk
ain't
about it.
common, I'm gonna
Yes.
be upset. Right. I don't want to talk about it. So
We got
I
that.
look forward to this game coming up, but I want to hear your thoughts because we got to go to predictions now. Who
Yo.
do you
So,
have in
yo.
the next game?
So you talking about the next game? You said what's gonna
Yeah.
happen in the next game? So, man,
Celtics versus Pacers. They're
yo,
playing tonight.
this is the tough part for the Pacers because this was a game they definitely should have won because everybody
Hmm.
showed up. They shot 53% and they even got bench help. Like you said,
Hmm.
they had
Yep.
30 points from the bench
Yep. Yep.
versus what was it, 13 from
Yep.
the Celtics bench. So
Yep.
everything was flowing.
Yeah.
Everything worked out for them and they still lost.
Hmm.
That right there is discouraging, especially for a team this young. That's
Yes.
incredibly discouraging.
Yes.
So I think, man, this next game, I think Celtics take it all day, man. They're going to go off the momentum. They're going to go off the discouragement that I know the Pacers are feeling right now. I know
Hmm.
Tyrese. I really want to see how he bounces back, man, from those two late turnovers mentally, because that's tough.
Hmm.
Moving forward, man, if I'm a coach, 1 to 2 minutes ago, I might let McConnell bring it up because McConnell ain't gonna turn that thing off.
Hmm. Yeah.
So,
Yeah. I
man,
would too.
I got Celtics this next game, man. I think they're gonna
Okay.
feed off those momentum. Indiana, man, most likely they're not gonna shoot 53% again, man.
Right.
So
I
they're gonna get
got
them all
uh
day.
I got the same. I have Celtics going up 2-0 on them. I
Yeah.
do think that it feels like to me that they took their heart in this one
Mm.
because
Snatched it right
they
out.
had so much hope and confidence that, man, we're finally about to get this, and they didn't do that. So I think that this is going to be that time for them to go ahead and actually maintain home court advantage for the
Yep.
first time in this season where they don't lose it for a moment.
Right.
So I look forward to seeing what they do tonight.
Yeah.
Um,
Hopefully
but
they bless their Celtics fans with some peace and
it,
win
it
this
would
next
it
game.
would be it would be nice. It would be nice for sure.
I know it'll be a
Um,
struggle for y'all.
Now for the Wolves and for the Mavs, because again, it's looking a little scary
Man,
there,
they're looking
Tyson. Who
rough.
you got?
Man, I really believe the Wolves gonna bounce back this game. Like you
Okay.
said, man, they're really tired. They look exhausted. I think mental exhaustion and physical exhaustion all came into play. And I think, man, the coach is really gonna make some good adjustments
Hmm.
moving forward, man. I think they're hopefully they if they focus on doubling Doncic and Kyrie, especially up by the 3-point line, as soon as they go over the screen, I think they'll be a lot more efficient on defense, man. It's about making those others score at the end of the day, but also on the offensive end, like we were talking about earlier, man, setting up strategies to take advantage of the mismatches, especially the ones that Cat has a lot of times,
Hmm.
but also getting Edwards involved in the offense to where he's not fully creating himself because every time he gets up in that paint, man, or coming off screens, they're on him, man. He's not getting
Hmm.
any space, he's not getting any peace. So coming off screens, man, him getting on the block. I think they need to set up some plays specifically for him, and they'll be
Yeah.
fine, man.
Okay. I think he needs to switch from Sprite to Gatorade is what Anthony Edwards needs to do because we've seen him in his commercials sipping that Sprite. I don't need you to have
That
any
ain't it. That's
high
slowing him
fructose
down.
at this time. What
Right,
you
right.
need to do is get these electrolytes in you so you can actually play this game the
Hey,
way you're supposed to.
is that why he was so exhausted? That's why he was so exhausted. Too
Yeah,
much sugar. It was a
too much
sugar crash.
Sprite.
It's a
Yeah, he
sugar
was
crash.
crashing. That's what we saw on the court. I think that the Wolves are going to
Uh,
tie this up. They're going to tie this up
yeah.
1-1. There's no way I see them going down 2-0 on this. They didn't play their best game, and I
Mm-mm.
think that the Mavs did play one of their better games. And if
They
you're going to
definitely did.
lose by 3, you're definitely close to winning this.
Yeah.
If something just dropped sooner, they would have won this game.
Yeah.
It's just that simple. So I definitely see them probably kind of doing a big one on them
Mhm.
this time come next game.
But,
So I see that series being tied up. So quick bites. Quick bites. I want
mm,
to switch gears for a moment.
yes, sir.
Chris Paul has been called out
This guy.
from one of the now NBA retired referees
It's
of
about
the NBA
time.
league on Chris Paul's attitudes,
Hmm.
where it was certainly some things that, not safe for children to be listening to, but
Hmm.
he basically said that Chris Paul is not a good person. He's a
Not at
jerk.
all.
He's not somebody that is
Mm.
likable in the slightest bit. And I want to hear your thoughts about that. What do you think that those were fair statements?
Oh, of course. Yeah, I've always been a big critic of Chris Paul. He's always, to me, been one of the dirtiest players out there, but he's never really got penalized for it because he's sneaky with it. But also, you can
Hmm.
see in his attitude, man, how he talks to his players, how he talks to other players, how he talks to other coaches. I mean, you never heard any other NBA player or teammate really talk highly about Chris Paul in
Hmm.
regards to his attitude,
Right.
to bring team together, or leadership skills. I mean, and just being a good guy overall. I mean,
Yeah.
just in what I've seen. Of course, I don't know him personally. I know I'm acting like I don't know him personally, but just in terms of what other players
Yeah.
have said, I mean, this dude is all around Class A Hall of
Yeah.
Fame jerk all
Yeah,
day.
I would agree. I'm not a fan of Chris Paul's attitude.
No.
The referee's name is Bill Spooner. Bill Spooner is the one who said these disparaging comments about
Yeah.
Chris Paul's attitude on the court. And in fact, he even compared him to Rasheed Wallace and the likes
Right.
thereof,
That
where he
was
said
tough.
Rasheed Wallace is fine in
Right.
comparison to
I'll
Chris
take him all
Paul.
day over Chris
That
Paul. Like, dang,
that's a testament to the
how
type
terrible
of
he
player
is.
that he is. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't think that that's a likable person. I don't think that that's a person that I personally would want to be on the team with. I played basketball pickup, obviously, because we ain't professionals here, where we played with certain players where it's like,
Mm.
ain't no way I'm going to play with you again. And I've seen it time and time again where
Yeah.
I can say, you know what, this is not the type of person that I would want to be on the court with.
Yeah.
And in fact, the refs don't even play for the team. They're supposed to be impartial, and they're like, I don't even want to be on the court with Chris
I
Paul.
want
So if you
That's
got people
tough.
saying, I don't even want to be on the
That's
court with
tough.
you,
I'm not even in the locker room with you, bro. And I don't
right?
want
It's like y'all don't even pay me, and I would
right.
rather I
Right.
rather not. So
I'm
if you
good.
got that going on,
There's a
then I
problem.
think that there's a problem there. But this is just one person's perspective, which just happens we agree with. So more will probably be revealed in time, I'm
Mm,
sure. Many NBA players with their numerous podcasts, I'm sure somebody will speak to it,
yeah.
someone who doesn't like him, maybe someone like Patrick Beverly or something like
No,
that.
that
He has time. He
oh,
has
I
time to
can't wait to
talk
hear that
about
on
it.
his podcast.
Yes. But another quick bite here is Victor Wembanyama
Wimby.
actually becoming not only the rookie of the year,
Go
but the
ahead, Pimpin.
first rookie to make an NBA All-Star, not All-Star, NBA first team. I think that that is
Significant. That's huge. It's
incredible.
huge.
Incredible. What are your
Huge.
thoughts on that?
Man, for you to even be considered as a rookie for Defensive Player of the Year,
Hmm.
but then also get first team all defense, like
Yep.
that's all the way off the chain, man.
Yep.
And I mean, from what we've been seeing in these playoffs, it's definitely looking like Rudy should have got it. So I would have been the one to vote for Wimby anyway. And that's tough. But
Rudy
yo,
was still
Wimby,
there though. Rudy was
he's
still first team
he was
all
still there.
defense too.
But man, I saw a compilation, man, of
Yeah.
Wimby and literally NBA players going into the paint and rolling back out to the 3-point line, like
Yep.
constantly,
Yep.
just fearful of Wimby
Yeah.
blocking their shot.
Oh
Like
yeah.
I've never seen anything like
I saw
I've
the
never.
three instances in the same play
It's
where they
crazy.
they went back out. Somebody's about to cut. They pass it. Like, "Nah, I'm gonna go back
Go
out,
back
and then
out.
someone pass it again, and they went out again. I was like,
Yo,
wow, this dude has
the
that type of ability.
fear that he instills in the people is unlike anything we've really ever seen.
Yeah.
Uh, and it's unlike anything Rudy has ever done. So
Mhm.
hey, let's
Yeah,
talk
I
about that.
think shout out to Wemby. I think it was well deserved.
Yeah,
In
most
fact,
definitely.
again, like you said, we've talked about should Wemby have been the Defensive Player of the Year in
Yeah.
as well as a Rookie of the Year. But for him to be solidified in being first team all defense for
Yeah.
the 23-24 season, I
Hmm.
think that that is a testament to who he is and how he plays.
Yeah.
And his ability to deter shots from being made is something that is not to take lightly whatsoever. He's
Hmm.
shown himself to have a pretty strong basketball IQ. He's
Yeah.
he's great with timing the ball when it goes up. And of
Hmm.
course, his length and his height is certainly going to attribute to him being able to deflect shots wherever possible,
Definitely.
as well as steals. We're not even just talking about
Nah.
blocks.
Nah.
It's
He'll be
steals, his
swiping that thing
rebounds,
too.
his presence in the paint,
Hmm.
his ability to read the offensive scheme so he
All
can
comes
call
into
out
factor.
things and
Yeah.
and basically break up those schemes as they're going on. He has that mentality.
Yeah.
And again, I've said it before. Nicholas Batum said that this might be the worst season of Victor
That's
Wembanyama.
scary. That's
If
scary.
that is his worst, imagine him at his best, in his prime, at his peak. So it's
Hmm.
only up from here. So I think that this is going to be an exciting time for him to
Yeah.
look at as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah,
Same
I think
thing.
that's going to be our episode for this time.
Yes, sir.
I appreciate you all for tuning in. Be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. We look forward to seeing you guys next time. And
Most
until then,
definitely.
you guys take care.
Peace out,
Peace.
y'all. Till next time.